Hi guys, welcome back to another video of Solidity Basics. In this video, we'll discuss interfaces. Interfaces allow us to call other contracts without actually having their code. We can just call the contracts by having their address and their interface. Interface cannot have any functions implemented. They can inherit from other interfaces. They are all declared functions must be external. Interfaces cannot have a constructor. Interfaces cannot declare state variables. So we'll see the interface in our example code here. We have a contract of counter which has a variable count and a function which will increment its value by 1. Then we have an interface with the functions count and increment. Count should be able to help us get the value of the public variable count, and increment should be able to help us call the increment function of this contract. So this is the interface that we have for this counter contract, and we are using this interface in my contract here. So basically we take in the address of the counter contract. This contract would be deployed on the Ethereum network and it would have a contract address on of its own. So we'll pass in that address, and this my contract would use the interface and then call the increment function of the deployed counter contract. Similarly, getCount takes the address of the live contract, wraps an interface around it, and then uses that to get the value of the public variable count. We also have a very crude example of how Uniswap works and how it uses interfaces. But I leave that for you guys to go through yourself, because anyhow I'll be covering Uniswap in much more detail in a separate video. So let's see how this counter thing works on Remix ID. So we have a contract ready here. We'll compile it and then we'll deploy the counter contract, and we'll also deploy the my contract. So we have both the contracts deployed here. Uh, the counter contract has the value of count as 0, and we can increase it by calling increment. So you see that the value has increased by 1. Let's say if we want to call this contract from outside and we don't have the code for this contract, we'll simply use the interface here, and we'll use the contract address, the live address of this contract, wrap the interface around that address, and then call the functions. So we'll copy this address and we'll pass in that address for increment counter, and you'll see that we have increased the value of count by 2 from another contract by using interfaces. Similarly, we can get the value of count here as well. This works similar to how we were able to increase the value of counter from another contract. So that was all for this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.